Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the very first Halo novel breakdown, The Fall of Reach. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos for this franchise. If you want more, let me know in the comment section. Hit that um let me know if you want me to break down other franchises as well. Um and let's crack on into things. So I've got my notes right here in front of me. So let's get it, chat. Let's get it. So book one, The Fall of Reach by Eric. I do apologize. I'm about to butcher his last name. Nyland. I do apologize. So major thing what you need to know about is that this is the foundation to the Halo video game franchise. So this is before the very first Halo video game. All right. Space. The ultimate frontier. The frontier of dreams, ambitions, power grab, mystery, and wonderment. The year is 2025, the 26th century. Humanity is furthering its colonized worlds, but at this time it's got hundreds and is ever expanding. However, a alien species known as the Covenant has deemed that humanity is the is a plague upon the universe and must be extinguished. The Covenant is a superior species with plasma-based technology, with the ability of its technology to destroy colonized worlds, with the coined term as glassing. The best way to describe glassing, guys, is think back to The Mandalorian when Moff Gideon glassed the surface of Mandalore. That's exactly what it looks like. That's exactly what happens. I'm positive they don't say anything about nuclear fallout for glassing, but you can assume that there is nuclear fallout. Now, humanity has been came under the banner together known as the United Nations Space Command, or UNSC, which is what this franchise will use for the military term for the Spartans military command structure. So, with the Covenant saying that humanity must be exterminated, humanity is literally losing the war because of both technology and not being able to make a dent against the Covenant. However, a scientist by the name of Dr. Catherine Halsey, the chief engineer and director of the Spartan 2 project, selected 75 children from different colonies all over and replaced the children she took with flash clones so the families did not suspect they were missing. However, flash clones have a lower life expectancy, so it'll be like one moment they're alive, or you could say cloning with rapid aging, I think. These children underwent both augmentations and training both physically and psychologically to understand their enemies and to have and be able to fight them. Now, talking about the augmentations, um, well, before I get into the augmentations, one of the children that this novel goes really in depth on is Spartan 117, aka John, aka the future Master Chief. And not only that, he will be joined by other Spartans that we will recognize and fall fan favorites for, such as Linda, James, Fred, and Kelly from the franchise, if you guys remember them. Um, so going back into the augmentations, these augmentations will turn them into super soldiers, but the side effect there's lots of serious side effects, and not all of them survived the augmentations. A lot of them did die. Um, it it's not like your classic Marvel movie or DC movie where the person gets injected with super soldier serum and they're like, "Oh, I'm all good" and stuff, and you don't really see the psychological side effects really and all. But it's like I like how they take the reality of medicine and say, okay, yeah, this is a dangerous procedure, and we need to show people that not everything is like the comic books. Um, and those who did survive the training and the augmentations in the program, they were allowed, well, they got to wear the Mjolnir armor, which is state of the art combat armor, which both amplified their speed and strength. I would also even say their skills too, and acted as a survival suit, especially in harsh terrains, space, and in combat as well. Um, However, the armor did have some serious problems with maneuverability. Like when I first read it, John was struggling with the armor, and he said, and I quote, "It felt like he couldn't really move." So I would even call it an exosuit too. Outside, yeah, it's also an exosuit because of how it increases certain things. So yeah. Um. Now, John did go through a training course, so the higher uppers could see what the Mjolnir armor could do, and it was interesting because Catherine Halsey also gave John an AI known as Cortana. And as we all know, Cortana is a major character in the franchise. If you don't know Cortana, go look her up. So the Spartans were deployed for their combat abilities against both Covenant and to quell insurgent uprisings on the human colony planets under the UNSC banner, or that had broken away from the UNSC banner to get their grip back on those planets. Um, they also were the only effective line of defense against the Covenant and were the face of the UNSC against the insurgents, because I do remember in the Ghost of Onyx that the insurgents were like, I've been expecting you and all. And it's like, oh my gosh. But yeah. So fast forward to the year 2052. So this is not 25, 27 years after the Covenant human war has been raging on. The Covenant launch a massive and unexpected invasion and attack on the planet called Reach, which is the UNSC's headquarters and prime planet for their base of operations for Spartans, as well as how they will control their forces from. I think it was also a full heavy weapons cache planet too. Now, when this did happen, the UNSC came up with a plan to capture a hierarchy or an upper covenant member of the race and force them into a agreement of a ceasefire, but that did not happen because of the surprise attack. And the Covenant was like, no, no, no. And I do believe that this is Covenant, the Prophet Greed or Envy. I could be wrong, but I'll double check later. Um, so in the end, unfortunately, the UNSC is hit so hard that they have to flee and the Covenant glasses Reach. But during the attack on Reach, there are two major teams to remember. John's Master Chief's team, known as Blue Team, which was a part of the orbital defense and extract of trying to get both the Covenant Prophet, I believe. Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh no, they were trying to get as many Spartans off because they knew it was a lost cause because of how hard they were being hit. And the other team was the red team made up of Kurt, and George and Kurt, which will be major members later on in the franchise, both books and video game wise. And there's other Spartans that were mentioned. I can't remember who. But red team was heavily wiped out because they were down on the planet fighting the Covenant, and they were losing members left, right, and center. Like, it was not an easy. It's like the Covenant were playing chess while the Spartans were playing checkers, I think. But yeah. um so going into the post destruction of Reach, well, before destruction. So one of the ships the UNSC has over Reach is called the Pillar of Autumn, and piloting the Pillar of Autumn is a person known as Captain Jacob Keyes, who we all know. If you guys haven't, go check him out. Go check out his story. He'll play a major role in the next bit of the Halo franchise, and he will play a role in Halo the Flood, which is book 2. And if you guys want book 2, let me know in the comment section. So, the Spartans, as well as Cortana, get on board the Autumn to escape the Covenant, and when they're escaping, they did a not plotted course vector in what they call their version of hyperspace slash warp, called slip space, and you need to calculate it, or you're going to end up light years or even centuries away from where you should be. Um, but that does shape up into what we will now talk about for book two, if you guys want, called with them discovering the first Halo ring that humanity will stumble across, as well as more information about who and what the Halo rings are. I want to thank everybody for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Can't wait to see what you guys think about this. Peace out.